In today's lesson, I want us to look at time. So what you have to note when you're dealing with time is that there is something called a clock. So a clock contains or consists of what we call an hour, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so making a difference between these three terms is the following. So when you're dealing with seconds, so seconds moves a little bit faster. So it can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ongoing until it reaches 60 seconds. Okay, so the moment it reaches 60 seconds, it forms what we call 1 minute. Okay, so it carries on from 1 minute. It counts again 1, 2, 3, going forward until it reaches 60 seconds, and then it's going to form 2 minutes. Okay, again from 2 minutes it carries on, go back 1, 2, 3, 4, going to 60 to form 3 minutes. Okay, I hope this is making sense. So the moment it reaches 60 minutes, that's where it forms what we call an hour. Okay, so what we have to note is that seconds move faster from 1 to 60. The moment it reaches 60, it creates or it forms 1 minute or a minute. Okay, so the moment minutes approaches 60, they forms an hour. Okay, perfect. So let's jump to this part. So I want to show you an example based on a clock here. So we have a circular clock here, so which is created and consisting of 1 to 12. So what I want you to note is the arrows that are presented in this circular clock. So we have 3 arrows. We have arrow 1, arrow 2, and arrow 3. So the difference between these arrows is that this one is a long arrow that is thick. So let me say TCK. So it's a long arrow that is thick. We have the long arrow that is thin. We have the short arrow. Okay, so each and every arrow has its own rules or roles. So this one represents minutes. The long thin represents seconds. The short one represents hours. I hope this is making sense. Okay, so I want us to also look at the following. So what you have to note is that we have what we call an o'clock. We have quarter past, we have half past, we have quarter to. So let me show you what I mean on this circular clock. So if the time is stating that it is o'clock, it means that the minutes or the minute arrow is supposed to be pointing at 12. We are looking at the circular clock. So the minute arrow, which is this one, is supposed to be pointing at 12. What if it is quarter to? If it is quarter to, the long arrow should be pointing at 9. That's quarter to. What if they say it is quarter past? This long arrow is supposed to be pointing at 3. Okay. What about they say now it's half past? If it's half past, this long arrow is supposed to be pointing at 6. Okay. So let me just put it like this. So we have 12, which is 0, 0. We have 3, which is 15. We have 6, which is 30. We have 9, which is 45. So if the time yet 16, let me not use 16, let me say it's 1:45. What you have to note is that you're going to say the long arrow is gonna point 45, and the short the short arrow is supposed to point next to the next hour, which is 2. So it's gonna be somewhere here, not at 2, not strictly straight to 1, but next to 2. Okay, so let's say we are looking at let me say 12 o'clock. So if it is saying 12 o'clock, the long arrow is going to point at 12, the short arrow pointing at 12 also. I hope this is making sense. So what if it quarter past? So if it quarter past, it's going to be like 12:15. So if it is like 12:15, it means that the long arrow is going to be pointing no. So the long arrow is supposed to point at 15, so it's going to be pointing at 3. And the short arrow is going to be pointing next to 12, because now we're still at 15. The moment at half past, so let me just remove that and say now it 12:30. The moment at 12:30, we know that the long arrow is supposed to be pointing here. The short arrow is supposed to be in between 12 and 1. So it's in between 12 and 1. So what I want you to note when you're dealing with these is the following. Is the fact that if it o'clock, it's supposed to be straight to 12. If it says we are dealing with 15, it is supposed to be next to 12. If we are dealing with 30, it's supposed to be between 12 and 1. If we are at 45, it's supposed to be next to the next number, which is 1. Next to 1. Let me say next to 12. Okay,